the last delivery on Route 17. It started as a normal night shift. I was doing late deliveries, nothing unusual. The kind of job where you stop noticing the hours, the roads, even the silence. Around 1:40 a.m., I got one last order. No name, no phone number, just an address. Route 17. Mile marker 42. That was strange already. No houses out there. Just forest and an old abandoned stretch of road that truckers usually avoided. But the app said priority delivery. So I went. The further I drove, the worse the signal got. My GPS started glitching, rerouting every few seconds like it couldn't decide where I was. Then the radio cut to static. Not music static, something deeper. Like whispers buried under noise. I turned it off. That's when I noticed the road. Empty. Not just no cars empty, dead empty. No lights. No movement. No sound except my engine. And then, my headlights caught something ahead. A figure. Standing in the middle of the road. I slowed down. At first, I thought it was a hitchhiker. But as I got closer, something felt wrong. He wasn't moving. Not even reacting to the car. Just standing there, facing me. I flashed my headlights. Nothing. I honked. Still nothing. So I rolled to a stop about 20 feet away. That's when his head tilted, slowly, unnaturally, like something remembering how to move. And then he smiled. I don't know why, but I locked my doors instantly. Every instinct screamed at me to leave. But before I could shift gears, my phone buzzed. A notification. Delivery arrived. Hand it to customer. I froze. The address was right here. I looked back at the man. He was closer now. I swear, I didn't see him walk. He tapped on the window. Soft. Slow. Rhythmic. Tap. 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 I couldn't move. Then he spoke. But his lips didn't match the words. You're late. My chest tightened. I whispered, I don't have your order. That was true. The bag in my passenger seat was empty. I checked it twice. Nothing inside. The tapping stopped. Silence. Then, a thud from the back seat. My blood ran cold. I turned slowly. There was something sitting behind me. A shape. Human, but wrong. Long arms. Head bent too far forward. And in its hands, the missing delivery bag. I gasped and spun around, but the seat was empty. Nothing there. No one. Just darkness. My breath shook as I looked back at the man outside. He was gone. Completely gone. The road was empty again. But my phone buzzed one more time. Delivery completed. I didn't wait. I slammed the gas and sped down Route 17, not caring where I was going. The GPS was dead. The road didn't feel right anymore, like it stretched longer than it should. Minutes passed. Or maybe hours. I don't know. Then I saw lights. A gas station. I pulled in fast, heart pounding. Inside, an old man stood behind the counter, watching me like he'd been expecting me. Before I could speak, he said, "You took Route 17, didn't you?" I nodded. He sighed, then said something I'll never forget. That road was closed 12 years ago. I felt my stomach drop. Why? I asked. He looked at me, then at my car, specifically, the back seat, and whispered, because people kept picking up deliveries that were never meant for the living. I laughed nervously. Yeah, not funny, I said. But the old man didn't smile. He just kept staring at my car. Then he asked, very slowly, "Did it sit behind you, or beside you?" My throat went dry. "How did you?" "Answer me." His voice was sharper now. I hesitated, then whispered, "Behind me." The old man closed his eyes like he already knew. Then he muttered something under his breath. A prayer. "You need to leave," he said. "Now. And don't stop driving until sunrise." I frowned. "Why?" He leaned closer. "Because once it delivers the package." He paused. "It doesn't leave empty-handed." A chill ran through my spine. I slowly turned my head toward the glass window, looking at my car. For a second, everything looked normal. Then the interior light flickered on. By itself. Something was inside. Sitting exactly where I had seen it before. My chest tightened. I didn't bring anything out of that car," I said quickly. The old man didn't respond. He just pointed. Look again. I stepped closer to the window. My breath fogged the glass. And that's when I saw it clearly. It wasn't holding the delivery bag anymore. It was holding something else. Something small. Rectangular. My heart dropped. My phone. But my phone was in my hand. I looked down. Still there. Then what was it holding? The screen lit up. Even from inside the car, I could see it glowing. And then it turned, slowly, toward me. Not the body. Just the head. Like before. And even through the glass. I knew it was smiling. I stumbled back. Nope. I'm done. I'm leaving, I said. I rushed toward the door, but the old man grabbed my arm. Wait. I froze. You still don't understand. His grip tightened. That wasn't the delivery. My stomach sank. Then, what was? He leaned in close. That was the receipt. My mind couldn't process it. Receipt? For what? But deep down, I already knew. I slowly turned back toward my car. The figure was gone. The light inside had turned off. Everything looked normal again. Too normal. The old man let go of my arm. You can still leave, he said. But don't check the backseat. I nodded quickly. Got into my car. Locked the doors. Started the engine. I didn't look back. I didn't breathe properly. I just drove. Faster than before. The road stretched endlessly again, but I didn't care. I just needed distance. Minutes passed. Then something hit me. A smell. Rotten. Like something had been sitting in heat for days. My hands tightened on the wheel. No, no, no. I remembered his warning. Don't check the backseat. So I didn't. I kept driving. Faster. Harder. Until my mirror moved. Just a little. Like something brushed against it. I froze. My eyes locked on it. Slowly. Carefully. I adjusted it. Just enough to see the backseat. And I wish I hadn't. It was closer. Much closer. Right behind me. Its face inches from my ear. And this time, I heard it breathing. Warm. Wet. Right against my neck. Then it whispered. You accepted the delivery. I screamed and slammed the brakes. The car skidded sideways. Everything went silent. No engine. No wind. Nothing. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. Then, my phone buzzed one last time. Payment confirmed. Amount. 1 life. My hands trembled. This isn't real. This isn't real. Then the final message appeared. Slowly typing. Thank you for your service. And then, something wrapped around my shoulders from behind. Cold. Tight. Unmoving. I finally understood. I wasn't delivering food. I wasn't on a job. I was the delivery. And Route 17 was just the address. The call that knew my name. It started with a missed call. No number. No caller ID. Just blank. I ignored it. Everyone gets spam calls, right? But then it rang again. Same thing. No number. No name. Just silence on the screen. Like my phone didn't know how to process it. Something about that made me hesitate. Still, I answered. Hello. Nothing. No static. No breathing. Just silence. I frowned. Hello. Who is this? Then, a voice. Very faint. Very close. You shouldn't have picked up. I froze. Who is this? I snapped. The line went dead. I sat there for a moment, trying to convince myself it was a prank. Maybe a glitch. Maybe someone messing with VoIP tricks. Yeah, that had to be it. I put my phone down. And that's when it buzzed again. A message this time. From an unknown sender. I opened it. My stomach dropped instantly. You sounded different than I expected. I stared at the message. What the hell is this? I muttered. Then another message came. Before I could even type. Turn around. I laughed nervously. Nope. I wasn't falling for that. Classic horror trick. I stayed facing forward. Didn't move. Didn't breathe. Then my phone buzzed again. You didn't turn around. My chest tightened. Okay, not funny anymore. I typed back. Who is this? The reply came instantly. I'm closer than you think. I stood up, checked my front door. Locked. Windows. Closed. Closet. Empty. I even checked under the bed like a paranoid kid. Nothing. I exhaled slowly. See? Nothing there. I grabbed my phone again. One new message waiting. You checked everywhere, except the right place. My hands went cold. What does that even mean? I typed it, but didn't send. Because deep down, I didn't want the answer. Then, my phone started ringing again. Same call. No number. No name. Just that empty screen. I hesitated longer this time. But curiosity won. It always does. I answered. Slowly. Carefully. Hello. At first, nothing. Then, breathing. Right into the phone. Slow. Wet. Uneven. I pulled the phone away from my ear. What do you want? I whispered. The breathing stopped. Then the voice came back. Clearer this time. Stronger. I want what you took. My mind raced. I didn't take anything. Silence. Then, a soft chuckle. Low. Unnatural. You did. Before I could respond, my lights flickered. Once. Twice. Then completely off. The room dropped into darkness. Total. Absolute. The kind where your eyes don't adjust. Where the dark feels thick. My phone was the only light now. I turned on the flashlight. Hand shaking. The beam cut through the darkness and landed on my mirror. Something moved. Behind me. I spun around. Nothing there. I looked back at the mirror. Still nothing. Just me. Breathing too fast. Get a grip, I whispered. It's in your head. Then my phone buzzed again. New message. This time, a photo. My hands trembled as I opened it, and everything inside me dropped. It was me, standing exactly where I was, taken from behind, seconds ago, which meant whoever sent it was inside the room. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Then the final message came. Now you can turn around. Don't watch the baby monitor at 3 a.m. I wasn't supposed to be awake, but parents don't really sleep. Not fully. Not anymore. My daughter, Lily, had just turned 1. We had finally moved her into her own room down the hall, and for the first time in months, the house was quiet. Too quiet. That's what woke me up. I reached for the baby monitor on my nightstand. The screen flickered softly. There she was. Lily, sleeping peacefully in her crib. Blanket tucked around her. Small chest rising and falling. I exhaled. Everything normal. Then I noticed something strange. The corner of her room looked darker. Not just shadow dark. Thick. Like the darkness had weight. I leaned closer to the screen. Probably just the angle, I whispered to myself. But then, the camera glitched. Just for a second. And in that flicker, something moved. I sat up. Fully awake now. Okay, nope. I grabbed the monitor and turned up the brightness. The room came into clearer view. Crib. Dresser. Window. Nothing else. No movement. No figure. I let out a shaky breath. Just tired, I said. I was about to put the monitor down when Lily moved. She didn't wake up. Didn't cry. She just sat up. Slowly. Too slowly. Like something was pulling her upright. My heart started pounding. Lily. I whispered instinctively, but the monitor had no audio input from me. She couldn't hear me. She just sat there, perfectly still. Then, her head turned toward the corner. I felt my stomach twist. What are you looking at? The corner didn't change. Still dark. Still empty. But Lily raised her arm, pointing directly into it. Nope. 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 I threw the blanket off and got out of bed. I didn't care if I was overreacting. I was going to her room. Now, as I stepped into the hallway, the monitor buzzed. A notification popped up. From the baby monitor app. Motion detected. I froze. That's not possible. I was already moving toward the room. What motion? Lily was in the crib. Then, another alert. Motion detected. Motion detected. Motion detected. My breathing got faster. I reached her door. My hand hovered over the handle. And then, from inside the room, I heard it. A voice. Soft. Whispering. Don't come in. I froze instantly. That wasn't Lily. That wasn't a baby. It was something else. Something pretending. My heart was pounding so loud I thought it would give me away. Who's in there? I whispered. No response. Just silence. Then, the monitor screen changed. The camera angle shifted. On its own. Now it wasn't facing the crib. It was facing the door. The door I was standing behind. My blood ran cold. And then, I saw it. Standing behind the door. Right where I would be if I walked in. Tall. Too tall. Its head nearly touching the ceiling. Waiting. I stepped back slowly. Every instinct screamed at me not to open that door. Then, the voice came again. This time, right next to my ear. Good choice. I spun around. No one there. Nothing. Just darkness. And my own reflection in the hallway mirror. But I wasn't alone. Something was standing behind me. In the reflection. Not in real life. Only in the mirror. Smiling. Wide. Too wide. And holding. A baby. But not Lily. This one wasn't moving. Wasn't breathing. Its head tilted at an impossible angle. I dropped the monitor. Smashed on the floor. The screen went black. From inside Lily's room. A loud thud. Then crying. Real crying. My daughter's cry. I didn't think. I grabbed the door handle and stopped. Because I remembered. The monitor showed something waiting behind that door. But the crying sounded real. Desperate. Terrified. Dad. My heart shattered. That was her voice. She had never said that word before. I had a choice. Trust what I saw. Or trust what I heard. And in that moment, I made the worst decision of my life. I opened the door. The room was empty. Crib. Dresser. Window. No Lily. No figure. Nothing. Just silence. Then, behind me, the crying started again. I turned slowly, back into the hallway, and saw the truth. The mirror. At the end of the hall. In the reflection. I was holding Lily. Rocking her gently. Trying to calm her. But in reality, my arms were empty. And the voice whispered one last time. Thank you for letting me out. The woman in the median. I wasn't speeding. That's the first thing I told the state trooper when this was all over. I was just trying to make it home before the storm hit. It was late October, somewhere outside Tulsa, Oklahoma. The highway was nearly empty, the kind of empty that makes you feel like you missed an evacuation notice. Rain had just started to fall, light at first, barely tapping against the windshield. That's when I saw her, standing in the median, perfectly still. At first I thought she was a broken-down driver. Maybe her car had slid off the road. But there were no hazard lights. No vehicle nearby. Just her, barefoot, wearing what looked like a long white nightgown, soaked and clinging to her frame. Her hair hung over her face, unmoving despite the wind. And she wasn't facing traffic. She was facing away, toward the opposite lane, like she was waiting for someone coming the other direction. I slowed down. Not fully, just enough to see if she needed help. As my headlights passed over her, something felt wrong. Her feet weren't touching the ground. They hovered. Just slightly. Barely noticeable unless you were really looking. I blinked hard. Rain distortion, I told myself. But then she moved. Not walking. Not turning. She glided. Across the wet grass. Without bending her knees. My chest tightened. I pressed the gas. The car fishtailed slightly on the slick pavement, but I kept control. When I checked the rearview mirror, she was gone. The median was empty. I exhaled slowly. Adrenaline playing tricks on me. That's what I thought. Until my radio clicked on by itself. Static. Then a soft female voice, barely above a whisper. Wrong way. I looked at the GPS. Still pointed straight home. Still correct. Then the voice repeated it. Wrong way. The rain intensified. Heavy sheets now. Wipers struggling to keep up. Thunder cracked somewhere in the distance. Then headlights appeared in front of me. Too close. Way too close. A pair of high beams speeding toward me in my lane. I jerked the wheel right, barely avoiding a head-on collision. The oncoming car blasted past on my left. But, as it did, I saw something that made my stomach drop. There was no driver. The driver's seat was empty. My tires hit the rumble strip. I corrected. Heart pounding. Hand shaking. That's when the radio voice came back. Louder this time. You're going the wrong way. I screamed back at it. I'm on the right side. The GPS screen flickered. The map rotated. And suddenly, the arrow representing my car flipped. It showed me traveling against traffic. But I wasn't. I could see the lane markings. I was fine. I was right. Wasn't I? Lightning struck somewhere close. The flash illuminated the highway ahead. And for half a second, I saw her again, standing directly in my lane. Facing me now, hair still covering her face, head tilted slightly to one side. I slammed the brakes. The car hydroplaned. Everything spun. Guardrail. Road. Sky. Metal screamed. Glass exploded. And then, silence. When I opened my eyes, the rain had stopped. No thunder. No wind. The car sat upright. Engine off. Airbags deployed. But something felt wrong. The highway was empty. Too empty. No passing cars. No distant headlights. Just stillness. I reached for my phone. No signal. Of course. Then I noticed something else. The lane markings. They weren't wide anymore. They were faded. Cracked. Like they hadn't been maintained in years. I stepped out of the car. My door made no sound. Not even a creak. The world felt muted. Like someone had lowered the volume of reality. That's when I saw the median. And her. She stood there again. But this time, there were more. Dozens of women in white gowns. All standing in the grass. All facing the highway. All with hair covering their faces. All perfectly still. My chest tightened. I turned slowly. Behind me, the highway stretched in both directions. But the cars weren't moving. They were frozen. Mid-drive. Some tilted. Some half-crashed. Drivers inside. Hands on wheels. Eyes open. Not blinking. Not breathing. Just staring forward. Like mannequins. A voice spoke beside me. Not from the radio this time. From right next to my ear. You were warned. I didn't want to look. But I did. She was inches from my face. Hair parted just enough for me to see her eyes. Completely white. No pupils. No iris. Just blank. Like headlights in fog. You were going the wrong way, she whispered. Then she leaned closer. And I understood. The highway wasn't wrong. The GPS wasn't wrong. I wasn't wrong. I had crossed over. During the spin. During the lightning strike. Into the other side of the road. The side where accidents don't end. They repeat. Over and over. And every new driver who loses control joins the median. Waiting. For the next one. The women began to move. Not walking. Not gliding. Just appearing closer each blink. Encircling me. The frozen drivers in the cars slowly turned their heads in unison. Toward me. Mouths opening. Not screaming. Smiling. I ran back to my car. Slid inside. Turned the key. Nothing. The woman from before leaned down to my window. And softly asked, "Do you know which way you're facing now?" Then everything went dark. Darkness swallowed everything. Not the kind when you close your eyes. The kind that feels physical. Pressing. Breathing. When my vision came back, I was still in the driver's seat. But the car wasn't wrecked anymore. No shattered glass. No deployed airbags. The windshield was intact. Rain lightly tapping again. Like nothing had happened. The engine was running. The radio was silent. And the highway ahead looked normal. Empty. I checked the rearview mirror. No frozen cars. No silent drivers. Just darkness behind me. My heart was still pounding. I looked at the GPS. It showed my route again. 22 minutes to home. Normal. Almost believable. Then I noticed something subtle. The compass at the top. It said, south. I had been driving north all night. My hands began to shake. I slowly looked up at the overhead highway sign approaching in the distance. Green reflective metal. The kind you've seen 1,000 times. As I got closer, my headlights lit it up. North. Tulsa. Straight ahead. I looked back down at the GPS. Still saying south. I looked back up at the sign. Now it read, wrong way. In bold black letters. Not reflective. Painted. Like it had always been there. The radio clicked on again. No static this time. Just breathing. Soft. Close. Then the voice. You still don't understand. My headlights flickered. And in the median to my left. She was walking now. Not gliding. Walking. Keeping pace with my car. Barefoot on the wet grass. Hair dragging behind her like it weighed 100 pounds. But her feet still weren't touching the ground. I sped up. So did she. I slowed down. She matched me perfectly. Never looking at me. Just walking parallel. Then, slowly, her head began to turn. Bone by bone. Until her face pointed directly at my window. Her hair parted. Those white eyes locked onto mine. And she smiled. Not wide. Not exaggerated. Just knowingly. The GPS screen glitched. The map disappeared. Replaced by a single question. Are you sure you're alive? My chest tightened. I checked my pulse. It felt faint. Or maybe that was panic. I looked at my reflection in the side mirror. And my stomach dropped. There was a deep gash across my forehead. Blood dried down my temple. I slowly touched my head. Nothing there. Mirror again. The wound was real in the reflection. Not in reality. Or maybe. The reflection was reality. Lightning cracked again. For a split second, the entire highway illuminated. And I saw it clearly. My car wasn't driving. It was crumpled against a guardrail. Upside down. Smoke rising from the hood. Paramedics kneeling beside a covered body on the pavement. And the woman in white. Standing in the median. Watching them. Watching me. The light vanished. Back to rain. Back to smooth road. Back to the illusion of driving. The voice returned. You crossed over. I whispered. When? The answer came immediately. When you spun. The hydroplane. The lightning. The impact. I never corrected. I never drove away. I never got back on the road. I was the driver they pulled from the wreck. And the version of me still driving? That's the echo. The replay. The part that hasn't accepted it yet. The woman stepped off the median. And onto the asphalt. Directly in front of my moving car. I didn't brake. I couldn't. The car passed through her. And everything stopped. Engine. Rain. Sound. I was standing now. Not sitting. In the median. Barefoot. Cold grass beneath me. My clothes soaked. I looked down. White fabric clung to my body. Long. Flowing. Not mine. Not what I had been wearing. Across the highway, cars continued driving normally. Headlights passing. Drivers unaware. Every once in a while. One would drift slightly. Hydroplane just a little. Correct at the last second. But sometimes. One wouldn't. And when they spun, the world would flash. And another figure would appear beside me in the median. Hair over their face. Eyes slowly turning white. Waiting. If you're ever driving at night in the rain, and you see someone standing in the median, don't slow down. Don't check on them. Don't question your direction. Because they aren't trying to cross. They are waiting. For you to lose control. And join them.